Hey, everybody, welcome to the PVD Horror Podcast. My name is Dave, and I am joined here today with Molly Rennick, who is the front woman of the Living Dead Girl, which is a band that debuted with their album Exorcism back in 2021. And after receiving attention from publications like Revolver and being featured on Sirius XM Octane and other platforms, they're going to be releasing their newest album, Conspiracy, on October 10th. And they've already released the new single and video for the track Poison Me. Molly, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. So, Molly, can you tell our listeners a little bit about yourself, kind of your ventures that you've gone through and what got you started with being a musician?
I feel like I was just born to be a musician. Like there was not one singular moment in my life that made me think, okay, that's it. I want to be a musician. I feel like I was just like born already knowing that. So I feel like Living Dead Girl has always been like a thing I've been working towards, and it just really like came to life in the last like 4 or 5 years when we put out Exorcism in 2021. That's kind of what put us on the map and got us started. And since then, it's just grown and snowballed from there with, touring all over Canada and the US, releasing singles that have been on like Sirius XM Octane, like you've said,
Yeah, yeah.
just things like that. It's like been a really fun journey to be like an independent metal musician.
That's cool. So I know that aside from being a musician, you're also a model, right?
Yes.
What else do you do? I feel like you probably do a number of things.
I wear many hats and I like to do a lot of different creative things. Like I love doing makeup. I do all the graphic design for the band, like single covers, the merchandise designs, pretty much any kind of visual for the band, like the lyric videos, the social media posts. I love doing like our video editing, all that kind of stuff. Like I run our website, I design the merch, I fulfill the merch. I just like to be very hands on and very creative with everything that I can.
Holy shit. All right. So you're just like a true artist, like through and through.
Yes, like I direct our music videos and like write the scripts for them and plan everything myself. It's a very like, I don't want to say like one person project because obviously I have band members who are also very
Yeah.
important, but I'm very much a control freak with our project.
Oh, okay. Do you think
In a
that,
good way though, because I get shit
yes,
done.
that's exactly what I was going to ask. Like, do you think that's helpful for your success to be a control freak, or do you think sometimes it's like you got to back off a little bit?
I feel like it's definitely beneficial. It's one of the reasons I would say that we're doing like as well as we are for like a newer independent band is because anytime we need to do something, I figure out how to do it. Like for example, like the first time I needed a lyric video, I hired a company to do it. I paid them $500 and I gave them like a very detailed description of what I wanted. And then they like did not do anything that I asked. So I like
Yeah.
downloaded an animation software and learned how to make one myself in like
That's
one afternoon.
awesome.
So like
Yeah.
whenever we need something, I just figure out how to do it myself. And I think that's like a really good trait to have as an artist is that I don't know how we're gonna do it, but I'm gonna make it work kind of
Yeah,
headspace.
you gotta learn as you go, right? You can't be afraid
Mm.
to like try to do it. And like ultimately, I guess at some point, if you really can't get it, I guess you can ask for help at that point. But I think there's a lot to be said for people who just want to like try to do as much as they can and just kind of like get the vision that they have in their head out there for people.
Mm.
So Living Dead Girl is a combination of like a few different genres. It's described as like metal, goth, hard rock, pop, industrial pop, and pop punk. Is that how you would say it, or do you have like your own kind of definition of what it is?
I actually think you nailed that. Those were all the exact genres I would have said.
Okay, good. Um, how did you guys come about? Like, how did you get the group together? Where did you get the name? Things like that.
So I actually came up with the name when I was 15 years old. My parents told me that when I was born, the doctor thought I was dead. So my mom literally told me, she's like, "You came into this world and just scared the shit out of us, like pretending to be dead, I guess."
Yeah, yeah,
So I started calling it Living Dead Girl when I was like 15 years old. And, that was before the band had like officially done anything. But I had started like, jamming with local musicians and trying to put a band together. And I was just calling it Living Dead Girl all along.
yeah.
But the group that we have now, like our current lineup, I feel like is like the strongest lineup we've ever had. Obviously, there's been member changes over the years because that's the nature of any band, but especially a smaller independent band. It's like, hey, who wants to go live in a van and lose money with me for weeks at a time? Like, good luck finding people who are going to volunteer to do that.
Right,
So I
right.
feel like No, there's been different like member changes throughout the years, but the group that we have now is like perfect.
Who's the other like longest standing member of the group?
That would be Jordan Storing, our bassist. So he's like, I say he's the original member because he was with me like when the band was founded. So like I had jammed with other people before him when I was like 15 years old, but we met when I was 16, he was 17. And that's kind of like what got us started was just me and a bassist. So
Yeah,
he's the other longest standing member.
that's cool. So who would you say some of your influences are, whether it's like musically, aesthetically, or anything like that?
I would say my biggest influence is definitely Avril Lavigne. She was kind of my introduction to like female rocker girls. Like I'd always seen rock music as a very male genre. Like I knew of like male fronted rock bands. And then I remember seeing like Avril Lavigne like smashing a guitar in a music video on MTV when I was like
Yeah,
4. And it was just like I'd never seen a girl do that. I'd only seen like, Britney and Christina and that kind of like I'd seen pop female and I'd seen rock male. So Avril was kind of my crossover of those two things. I mean, her music is still like pop, but it's a girl playing a guitar and writing her own songs, and that's kind of what made me be like, "Oh, that's so cool. I want to do that."
yeah,
Was so she was very much like my first love musically, and I would say to this day I still am very like influenced by her. But also over the years, like I've looked up to like Marilyn Manson in this moment, that kind of music as well. So I like to be able to cross over those two different worlds. I'm like, I love pop music and pop punk, but I also love like the darker, heavier stuff. So I like to
sure.
take both those things I love and put it into one thing.
When you in your music videos, I think that really comes across is that you're not just metal, but you do have this like fun, um, like bubbly side to you, and your videos are
Yeah.
fun, and they're not just like some are dark, some are, lighter, like the
Mm,
one where you're like at a gym and there's murders happening the whole time. It's fun, and it kind of represents, I think, what you're going for here. It's not just one
mm.
thing, it's kind of a mixture of a ton of things.
Yeah, we definitely like to have like an element of fun in things we do, whether it's like making things a little bit funny, a little bit comedic, or just like very upbeat and, like high energy. Cause I don't like to be super serious and dark and depressing all the time. I think there's definitely a time and a place for
Yeah.
that. I have some songs that are like that. We have some music that's like darker, like Poison Me, for example, is like a much like
Hmm.
more emotional, dark song. We went straight serious with that one. But like with like the exorcism video and dysfunctional and ugly, I was like, let's just do something fun. I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't want to try to be so goth and spooky for a 4 minute long video. Like, I'll lose interest. I was like, I gotta do something fun in that.
It sounds like you just try to like strive to be yourself and do stuff that represents you instead of trying to
Yeah,
be this stereotype of like what you think, you know, something's supposed to be, right?
exactly. And I feel like that's kind of what sets us apart from other bands. They can be kind of similar in sound or similar in style. And it's like, but what makes us different from them is that element of fun.
Yeah. So are you a horror fan?
I am, yeah.
All right. I figured, but I didn't want to assume. So what are some of your favorite horror films, and how do you like integrate that into your music, like creating music or writing music?
So I definitely feel like I'm more a fan of older, kind of more classic horror movies than like the modern ones. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you, I haven't seen like any horror movie that's come out in the last like 3 years. Because I also don't go to the movie theaters. The movie theaters annoy me. The last few times I went, people were like yelling the whole time and it bugged me. So I'm very much now like a stay home and watch it once it's on a
Sure.
streaming service. So I'm kind of behind on new horror movies, but I really like older ones like The Exorcist, Poltergeist, Halloween. Like the more like classic ones, I feel like they're just more my aesthetic. And I also liked when they were more practical effects. I like when they do special effects makeup and like real effects like that. Like I love makeup, so it's having like
Yeah.
actual special effects and gore. Whereas once things started getting kind of like more CGI, then I'm not as into them. So definitely, yeah, like those older ones are my favorite. And how I integrate that into music is sometimes when I'm writing a song, like with Poltergeist, for example, like people will ask, "What's the song about?" or "What is any song about?" And it's like Poltergeist isn't about anything. I say that that's an abstract song. I'm like, I'm not talking about anything in particular. I literally just wrote that song, like not even fully inspired by the movie because I had not seen the movie in years when I wrote that, but
Yeah.
just kind of like picking like an element of like a folklore or a myth. I was like, let's just sing about ghosts, let's just tell a story about a ghost. So I like to be inspired by horror movies, but yeah, like I hadn't watched the movie anytime near when I like wrote the song, so it just kind of came to me randomly.
Yeah. So it's less about like trying to tell the story that the movie displayed, and more about just like this is an influence in here, but it's not about Poltergeist, for example.
Yeah, it's like definitely like it's obviously an influence. Like it had some role in helping me think of it, but like
Yeah.
I watched that movie when I was like 13, I think. And then I wrote the song when I was like 20. So it's not like I watched the movie and then wrote the song the next day. You know, it's
I have
just
a
like I thought the movie when I was writing it.
my embarrassing truth about Poltergeist is for ages I thought I had seen Poltergeist, but it turns out I only seen Poltergeist 3, and I always thought that that was Poltergeist 1, and then everyone would talk about it. I was like, yeah, what about like they were in the hotel and everyone's like, what are you talking about? So then I finally watched Poltergeist. I was like, oh, I never saw this. And that was like 2 years ago or 3 years ago. So I'd
Like there
gone a very long time without it.
was it like 2014, 2015? There was like a remake of it that came out.
Yeah, I think that's what kind of dawned on me that I hadn't actually seen it because there was like a clown. I'm like, there was no clown in
Was
Poltergeist,
that a
but like
sequel or a remake? I don't
that was like
remember.
a
I know that.
remake. That was a
Okay,
remake.
yeah, it was a
Yeah.
remake. So I remember I saw that, but I liked the 1970s, like the Steven Spielberg one
Oh,
better.
of course. Yeah, that's the ultimate classic right there. Um,
Yeah.
so as far as using horror as like an influence, um, aesthetically in your music videos, you do you gravitate more towards like the fun horror comedy, or do you also want to like create something super scary one day, like with one of your music videos?
The problem with trying to be scary is it's very hard to pull off unless you have like the resources, the team, the budget to do so. Like with Exorcism, for example, we had a bigger budget and a bigger team for that one. So it is actually spooky. Like I had a real special effects makeup artist who did like the scarring on my face for me and everything. We had like the whiteout contacts and
Oh yeah. Yep.
like spinning my head around and like bending backwards on like the bed and stuff. So like that video we were able to like do elements of scary, but then I still put little bits of comedy in that video because I just wanted to make it fun, you know? Like
Yeah.
the priests are trying to exorcise me, but the one priest is like trying to hook up with me. Like I was like, let's just make it fun.
Right.
But we still were able to have some actual true horror in it. Whereas like for the ugly music video, like we're murdering people, but as we knew all along, this isn't going to look real. We don't have a special effects makeup artist on board. We don't have a big team to make this look real. So we fully leaned in the opposite direction and said, let's go for campy horror, let's go for cheesy, because that works better on like the DIY indie
For
budget.
sure.
Like
Yeah.
we added the little cartoon animations on it and kind of tried to play up some more like Powerpuff Girls comic book theme. Because I said like me stabbing someone in a gym on a budget of $3 is not going to look real. So
I
we just kind of made the intention to not look real.
I like how you're making like little indie films each music video. It sounds like you're
Exactly.
putting a lot of
Yeah.
effort into creating them, and that's great. You're making little short films basically.
Exactly. Like we are a very DIY band. Like our drummer Steve is who filmed and edited the ugly video, and then the little cartoon animations that were all keyed in is like I did that part myself. So like we're a very like small DIY team making these
That's
videos.
That's amazing. So with your new
Thank you.
album Conspiracy, um, what should fans who are already a fan, like people who are already a fan of Living Dead Girl, what should they expect from this new album? And what also for people who maybe aren't familiar or maybe Exorcism didn't connect with them, why should they give it another try? Why should they give Conspiracy a listen?
I would say that this album is a bit more like mature and a bit more refined than Exorcism is. Um, not just musically, but like lyrically and also with my vocals. Like I was 20 years old when I recorded Exorcism, and then I was 25 when I recorded Conspiracy. So like a lot changes in your life and as an artist in those years. Like I'd worked with a vocal coach in the time being, so I feel like my screams specifically are a lot more dynamic. I had like a bigger range to play with. I could show off my vocals a lot more on this album than I was capable of doing when we recorded Exorcism. So I feel like if maybe Exorcism didn't do it for you or wasn't your vibe, you should still listen to Conspiracy because it's like this is the grown up. This is like the big sister album
Yeah,
to Exorcism. It's like that was my debut as like pretty much a teenager, and then this is like my grown up album.
that's awesome. And for people who already are familiar with your band and are fans, what do you think they'll
Mm.
get out of this album?
So if you already like the Living Dead Girl sound, which I would say is like a very signature blend of like it's heavy and it's catchy at the same time, like the riffs are heavy, there's good breakdowns, the screams are very in your face, but then it just like goes straight into a pop chorus. If that's your jam and you love that, we still do that on this album.
Very well too. Like that was the thing that I was like, because I'll be honest with you, when it comes to like metal, it's probably the genre that like I have an appreciation for it. I can enjoy it. It's not like country. I can't do country at all. But with metal,
Me
like
neither.
I have an appreciation for it. I can listen and say like, oh, I like this or not. But like, it's not the thing that I'll listen to for long periods of time. Um,
Mm,
but I do like your album. I was like, I could listen to for like long rides and stuff like that. I was listening to. I was like,
mm,
this works for me because it's not just like screaming. There's also hooks, and it was very catchy.
yeah.
And I just kind of found myself continuing to go back to it, which I really appreciated.
Mm,
So I totally agree with you. I think it's got a great blend, and it's something that like you can enjoy on so many different levels. And each song it has a slightly different take, which I think you were kind of going for as well. And I love that.
thank you. Yeah, I don't
Uh,
like metal that's just straight screaming the whole time either. So I
yeah.
try to like make music that breaks it up. Like I love screaming, but even I need some clean vocals in between the screaming.
Yeah. And you kind of identified this album as being a little bit more vulnerable. Um
Mm,
and I was listening to some of the songs and I was like, all right, there's some things here that feel personal, right? Like so I know you mentioned like there's some songs that like, maybe it's not really about anything, but then there's some songs definitely on this album that I feel like are about something. Like your um I wrote down a couple of lyrics. So let me so there was one song, I think it's 18, is like take me back to the time if only I knew then the things I know now. And obviously that's a theme a lot of us go to. But like for you, did that have some deeper meaning? Were there some things that you were kind of like cathartically getting out as you were writing that song?
yes, definitely. That was probably like the most personal song I've written yet. And I feel like that one's like really like the opposite. Like it's not an abstract song. That's about something very specific. And I feel like people will notice that. But also I think a lot of people will be able to figure it out and relate to it as well. So that was like a very important song to write. But I feel like yeah, like writing it was like therapeutic for myself.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that people who say that they don't get any catharsis out of making art or writing things, I'm like, that's bullshit. Because like I feel like it
That's a
comes
lot.
it comes from somewhere, and we're usually like processing something, or the idea is something we've experienced in some way, shape, or form. So getting it out is always helpful. And when
Yeah.
I was listening to that song, I was like, I feel like this must have some personal attachment. And then there's is it Poison Me that it's about like the toxic relationship? And
Yes.
okay, yeah. So then there was another one that I was like, oh, there's feels like there's a personal story, or and something that's relatable, because like these are themes that I think a lot of people experience or have experienced. But to make the choice to put it in your music is a intentional choice. So I feel like there's some
Yeah.
personal connections with these tracks that you have here.
Yeah, I can't afford therapy. I just write songs instead. Like I'll
We
just
got to
talk
get
about
you
my
better
problems in
some
a melodic
insurance,
way.
lady.
Yeah, like
So
I'll just sing about it.
yeah, well, what's that like to put it in a song, have everybody listen to it, have them singing it back to you at shows? Like,
It
what is that
honestly
experience?
feels really good because I feel like it's really cool when I feel something strongly enough that I'm like, okay, I got to talk about this, and I write some lyrics about it, and I sing it, and you can hear the emotion in the vocals, and then someone says to me, "Oh my god, I relate to this song. This song helped me." Or I really feel like I feel this in my soul, or something like that. Like people have commented that. Someone said that on Poison Me the other day. I got a comment on TikTok. Someone's like, "I feel this in my bones," and I'm like, that like gave me chills to read because I'm like, wow, something I created actually impacted you. Like that's really a cool feeling as an artist.
Did you think that you would have songs that people would like feel are helpful to them or connect like really heavily with them?
I feel like you do expect that because it's like if you're being very authentic and vulnerable, other people are going to like appreciate that and feel it as well. It's like if, you're talking about something really serious and really personal and people know it's genuine and they know it's authentic, like it's going to resonate with them. Like
Yeah.
if it's just like some made up silly song like Poltergeist where I'm talking about literally nothing. No one says to me, "Oh my god, I feel those lyrics," because like it's not about anything. But whereas with a song like Poison Me, it is about something. So I
Yeah.
feel like it really like relates to things other people are going through.
Well, I like that you're kind of honest about saying these are personal things to you. Because imagine if you were just writing these songs and you really don't have a connection to them, and people are like, "Oh, I connect with this song." That would be super disingenuous. So like you're doing music that's authentic. I love that.
Yeah, and that's why I could never do music that I don't write. Like a lot of artists I know, like especially like in pop music and stuff, like they just get songs given to them or their
Mm-hmm.
like label buys songs for them. And like I don't write all the music because like I'm not a drummer or anything. Like I don't write our songs and arrange them. I work like with the producer while they're working on it, but I do like the melody lines and the vocals and the lyrics. And it's like if someone else wrote the lyrics and just gave them to me, like I wouldn't want to sing them. Unless it's a cover, which is very different. But I couldn't put my name on something I didn't write.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't even imagine that experience of like not being connected to something I make. But you're right, like it happens all the time, especially in like pop music and things like that. Um,
I would not be able to do it.
no, and so like Poison Me, not only is it like a personal track, it's also the one that was chosen to be the first single of the album. Um, what made you choose that track, other than that
I
it's a great
felt
song?
well, thank you. I felt like that one just really set the tone. I mean, technically speaking, Ugly was the first single off this album because it came out last year, but it's kind of it was really separate from like this cycle, if that makes sense. Like it came out last year as kind of a standalone song, and then Poison Me is now what like came out and announced the album. So I still feel like I consider Poison Me like the lead single that like started the conspiracy era. So we're just gonna keep Ugly separate. But I just felt like
Yeah,
Poison
yeah.
Me was the one that really set the tone for this album. I feel like it lets everyone know this is what this new album sounds like. This is the vibe we're going for. Like I feel like it just like set the stage for the album.
The first song on the album though is Conspiracy, right?
Yes.
And that also, in my opinion, totally represents what you were talking about earlier with like the catchy hook while there's also screaming. Like when I turned on that song, I was like, all right, this is an album I'll be able to listen to pretty easily because
Mm,
like I just like everything that's going on here. So I like the way the album is kind of constructed, which is something I never really ask anyone when I talk to musicians. I never really ask about that. Like what's the process of figuring out what song goes first, what song goes next? How do you make that choice?
I actually love that process so much. It was one of my favorite parts of making this album was picking the track listing. So anyone who's listening to this, I'm begging you to please listen to the album in order because that's like the way we intended it.
Yeah.
It's really fun to think like, okay, think that this is my first time hearing these songs. What's the listener experience? Like, how do we want to flow? Like, really heavy song, then softer song, then catchier song. Like, trying to figure out like the track list. I just really listen to them a lot and start building it in my head. Like, some of them just fall into place really easily. I was like, the title track Conspiracy is gonna be number one. It has like a dramatic intro. It's the introduction to okay, this is what we're getting into. And then we ended it with the softest song, Survival Mode. I was like, I want to end on a soft note. And then so you kind of just it's kind of like building blocks. You just stick them in spots and just
Yeah.
fill in the gaps. So it was really fun coming up with the track list. I feel like the order it's in is like the perfect order.
I appreciate hearing that it's actually an enjoyable experience because I think that would be something I would like to do. If I was a musician, I think I would enjoy trying to figure out the order. But I also think it's super important too because I can think of albums and albums to me are almost like reading a book. You wouldn't skip a chapter. And I
Exactly.
think we lost sight of that during like the whole, podcast, like streaming era of music where it's like we just picked certain songs. And obviously there's going to be stronger songs. Not all of them can be super strong on an album, right? But it's almost
Mm,
intentional sometimes the order that they're in, and it's kind of the way the musician wants you to hear those songs. So to just
mm.
only take out a few and listen to those on repeat, I think loses value to the process of making an album as a whole. So I like hearing how people do that, and just the fact that it's actually an enjoyable experience. I think I would relate to that. Like I think I would like doing that.
Yeah, it's honestly like one of my favorite parts is like constructing the album. And that's why I keep doing full length albums and not just releasing singles. Is I like coming up with the album artwork, the title, the whole like making a collection of songs versus just here's a couple random standalone songs. It's
Yeah.
more fun.
Is Poison Me your favorite song on the album, or do you have another one that?
I would definitely say it's one of my favorite Living Dead Girl songs ever. I just feel like it's such a strong, solid, like it's such a powerful song. So that one really stands out to me. And honestly, I find myself lately, like when I tell people I'm in a band, I want them to listen to Poison Bee first. So if that's not an indicator that it's one of my favorite songs, I don't
Yeah.
know what else would be. But definitely another standout song in the album to me is Succubus. That might
Oh,
be my favorite Living Dead Girl of all
I
time.
actually really like that song, and I love the intro to it. Just kind of
Thank
explaining
you.
about a succubus and things like that. When I heard that one, I was like, oh, this is a great song right here. And it's fun,
Thank
right?
you. It is,
The,
yeah. I loved doing that intro because I wanted one song to have an intro like that. And then it naturally fit with that song because I was like, I think we need to give the definition of the word first because a lot of people have never heard that word before.
so, you sound like you're very confident, excited, happy, probably a ton of other things about Conspiracy, the album as a whole, right?
Yes, all of the above.
I like asking people, things about processes and how things make them feel. Making an album and gearing up for its release, but also being super satisfied and feeling like it's something that represents exactly what you were trying to create. What is that emotion like? What does that feel like as you're going through this process of like, trying to get the word out about the album, all the advertising and promotion of it and stuff like that? Like, what has this whole experience been like right now?
So being in an album cycle is my favorite thing in the world, and I'm so excited. Like I was so eager to get Conspiracy announced. Like we hadn't even picked the release date yet, and I was just like, we need to get this album announced. We need to get it out there. And it's like, okay, one thing at a time. Like you got to plan out the music videos, the singles, the release timeline. I was just like so eager to get in an album cycle again because it's so much fun being like, new album coming soon. Here's another single. Here's another music video. Here's a new
Yeah.
merchandise collection. Here's this. Like it's just like so much stuff to release and announce and share all at once. And then when it finally comes out and everyone gets to hear it, it's just so satisfying. Like I've been working on this album for like 2 years now, and I just want people to listen to it. So once it's finally out and everyone gets to
Yeah.
listen to it, it's like a payoff. It's like, okay, it was all worth it. Everyone got to hear it now.
You've been touring for a while. Is that accurate?
Yes, past 4 years.
Okay. Are you still currently touring, or is there a tour coming up?
So we're touring a little bit less at the moment. We do have a few shows in September, just like a little weekend run, and then we have our album release party in Orlando, Florida, on October 10th, which I'm very excited about because album release parties are like very special, fun shows. They're kind of like a different kind of standalone show. But we're doing a little bit less touring at the moment because we've been so focused on this album release, like creating the music videos, the photo shoots, like all the content that's involved, lots of like radio shows and podcast appearances and press and stuff.
Yeah.
It's just like we've been so busy with the release of this album that if I was living in an RV right now too, I don't think I could do all of it at once.
Yeah, exactly. So, during your shows, what's the vibe like? Does it get crazy? What's the craziest thing that you've seen happen at one of your shows? Anything
Oh,
anything noteworthy?
when we played Upheaval Festival, we had like a huge mosh pit during our cover of Skater Boy. And that really like stands out as like an awesome moment. 'Cause it's like I never thought you'd see people moshing to that of all songs. But that I think just sums up for you like how much fun a Living Dead Girl show is. It's
Yeah.
like like normally metal can be kind of known for like people being gatekeepers, like very like it has to be metal and very specific. But then we just show up and we're wearing pink and we're playing Avril Lavigne covers and we're like we straight up said on stage, I'm like, we're not your average metal band. We like to have fun. And we've got a whole crowd of like, grown men moshing to an Avril Lavigne song.
That's
It's like
amazing.
that's
Yeah.
the vibe of our shows.
Right. And I love hearing you play tribute to, someone who inspired you. So playing an Avril Lavigne cover is very fitting for that. So that's awesome.
It definitely is, and it's honestly one of my favorite songs to do live. I don't think I'll ever take it out of the set list. It's fun
That's
because
awesome.
if you've never heard of Living Dead Girl and you're standing in the crowd and you're kind of just nodding your head along to the music, the second those people hear a familiar song, it opens them up. Now they want to
Yeah.
sing along. Now they want to dance. So it's just like a really good way to get every single person in the room like engaged, is to just throw a song that everybody knows in.
That's so cool. So you mentioned you're in Orlando, right? Are
Yes.
are you a fan of Halloween Horror Nights and like things like that, or have you gone to the Universal's Halloween Horror Nights?
I'm not gonna lie, I haven't been to Halloween Horror Nights yet, which is wild because my friends always ask me to. It's just I've been like on tour the past like 3 Octobers and busy. And I'm not gonna lie, I've always been more of a Disney than a Universal
Oh,
theme park
okay.
goer. So I've
Yeah,
only been to Universal, I think like 3 or 4 times, whereas
sure.
Disney, I've been like 10,000 times. But I'm meaning to
You
get to Halloween Horror Nights. I will eventually do it.
All right. Well, now that you guys are slowing up on the tours for it's because it's going on right now, you hopefully you can get there maybe this month or next month. Do you do the Disney Halloween?
Yes, I did the Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party once. I
Okay.
don't like doing the parties like super often just because they're really expensive.
Yeah, yeah. But the ride
Like
times are
two
low,
hundred
so that's always.
dollars.
I know. Trust me, I know. I actually just went last last week or the week before. I just went to the Halloween party in Orlando, and that was a lot of fun. So
Oh, it
it's
is so fun.
yeah, it's a good time. Um, Last question for you. So you're kind of a jack of all trades, very artistic. Do you think that we'll see you acting in horror movies? Maybe. I mean, you have the look for it. You have the interest in the genre. Do you think we'll see you acting in some maybe some bigger or indie horror movies?
Honestly, I would love to be able to say yes to this question confidently. So I plan on it. I hope to do it eventually. Acting is something that I used to do a lot as a teenager. I used to do like a lot of like auditions for like TV shows and things like that. And it just kind of went on the back burner as I was really focused on music. And then through music, I've been able to act a bit. Like in our music videos,
Yeah.
like I've gotten to like, fake murder somebody and like pretend to be possessed and all these things. So I've gotten to like dabble in acting a bit with music, which has been fun. I've been asked to be in horror movies over the past few years. It's just nothing that has like actually like come to fruition. It's been like, oh, we're thinking about doing this movie. Would you be interested? And I'm like, yep, let me know when it happens, kind of thing.
Right. Right.
That's something I will eventually make my crossover into.
Would love to see it. Would love to
I
see
think
it.
it's so fun.
So when that happens, make sure you come back here and you talk to us all about it. Um,
Yes, absolutely.
so Conspiracy releases October 10th. So people need to mark their calendars and make sure that they get their hands on it. Um, Tell people where to find everything Living Dead Girl right now, social media, websites, all that stuff.
So our official website is livingdeadgirl.ca, not .com. It's .ca, like Canada. We've got our pre-orders for Conspiracy on there. So if you are someone who likes to buy vinyl or CDs, we've got all that stuff as well as new merchandise with it. Our album release show is coming up in October as well in Orlando. So if you're in that area, come check it out. And then on social media, we're Living Dead Girl Official on Instagram, Living Dead Girl Band on Facebook, and our YouTube channel is Living Dead Girl Official. So all the music videos are on there.
Awesome. Molly, thank you so much for joining. This was a pleasure, and I wish nothing but the best for you. And I hope that you make a return on here at some point, and we're chatting about some other upcoming exciting project as well. So thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Yep. So October 10th, Conspiracy, Living Dead Girl. Make sure you guys check it out. And we'll see you next week with a new episode. Thanks for tuning in. See you.
Takes a lot of love for a person to do this.